Did Bullet, once the first choice of the army and the police, really become a status symbol for tough guys? And why did Thar start getting called a symbol of power? Evening is falling. A light layer of dust is rising on the road. From a distance, a heavy sound comes, and within moments, a bullet appears on the road. A little later, on the same path, a tall, wide, powerfully built-looking Thar also passes by. The people standing nearby look at the vehicle with one glance and at its driver with another. And this is where the story begins. The fear is not about which vehicle is being driven on the road, but about whether we have started connecting certain machines with human behavior and then stuck a permanent image onto them as well. And the curiosity is this. After all, why have Bullet, which was once chosen for the Indian Army and police patrol duties, and Thar, whose roots lie in rugged utility vehicles, suddenly become the identity of dabangs or badmashes in the language of social media? This debate became even sharper after a statement by Haryana's DGP 𝐵 Singh, when in a public interaction he said that the police often check Thar and Bullet riders because road discipline concerns linked with such vehicles keep coming up. This statement sparked a major discussion around stereotypes, policing and vehicle image. But the most important thing in this entire story needs to be made clear right at the beginning. No vehicle is good or bad in itself. Whether it is a Bullet, a Thar, a Jeep, a sedan or a scooter, these are all machines. Behind them, there is engineering, purpose and design philosophy. An image is created when society begins associating a vehicle with a certain kind of behavior, body language, clothing style, driving pattern, music culture, social media imagery, and local experiences. Slowly, the real character of the machine falls behind and a layer of perception settles over it. That perception then becomes a stereotype, and the stereotype becomes so strong that the moment the same vehicle appears on the road, a fixed image starts playing in people's minds. That is the real question in this story too. Are Bullet and Thar really what public imagination has made them out to be, or have we simply pasted a few incidents over the entire vehicle culture? Now let us first talk about the Bullet. According to Royal Enfield's official history, the name and legacy of the Bullet are very old. The company's roots go back to Britain, and the Bullet line has had recognition since the early 20th century. In the Indian context, the big turning point came when in 1952, the Indian Army ordered 500 units of the 350 Bullet for border patrol. According to Royal Enfield's own history, this motorcycle proved suitable for tough terrain, and after that, larger orders followed. Then in 1955, local assembly began in Madras through Enfield, India. In other words, the Indian story of the Bullet began not with fashion, but with function. This bike was not first a style icon. It was a machine liked because of reliability, ruggedness, and maintenance simplicity. That is why for a long time, the Bullet was seen more as a bike of work than of show. No vehicle is chosen in the army, police, or patrol duties by looking at glamour. Their durability, torque, terrain handling, and robustness are what matter. The Bullet's heavy body, steady ride feel, and strong mechanical character gave it a distinct identity. Later, when its aura increased in the civilian market, things like heritage, masculinity, road presence, and sound became attached to it. But it is important to remember that its foundation was not built on any flashy image, but on utility and endurance. So if someone today sees this bike only through the lens of stereotype, then they are seeing only half its story. Time changed, the market changed, and India's youth culture changed too. Earlier, people saw a motorcycle only as a means of travel. Later, it became an identity. Bullet was one of the biggest beneficiaries of this identity shift. For many people, riding this bike became not just a commute, but a presence. Its thump, its upright stance, its retro look. All these together turned it from an ordinary bike into a personality bike. And this was the stage from where the second story of perception began. Because when a vehicle develops a strong visual identity, every behavior associated with it starts getting noticed more. A normal commuter's mistake does not attract as much discussion as that of a vehicle whose road presence is already heavy. Exactly the same thing applies to the Thar as well. The Mahindra Thar was launched in 2010, but its story does not begin in 2010. Thar's design lineage goes back to the Jeep 𝐮𝐸 series and Mahindra's old utility vehicle tradition. Mahindra has been making rugged vehicles in India inspired by Willys-based Jeep platforms for a long time, and the Thar became the modern form of that same DNA. Autocar's 2010 launch coverage and public model history both show that the Thar was presented as an all-new off-roader, in which the visual memory of old Mahindra off-roaders like the MM540 remained, but the underlying package was made new. In other words, the birth of the Thar 2 came not from show-off culture, but from off-road purpose, ruggedness, and terrainability. The real strength of the Thar is its stance. It does not just move on the road. It gets noticed. Its height, width, boxy shape, off-road image, open-air adventure feel, and muscular proportions make it stand apart in a crowd. That very thing makes it aspirational too. For many buyers, the Thar is not just a car, but an escape machine. weekend trips, hills, dunes, trails, photography, outdoor lifestyle. All these dreams got connected with this vehicle. That is why the demand for the Thar increased not only because of utility, but because of aspiration too. But aspiration has another face as well. The moment any vehicle becomes a status symbol, it begins attracting not only disciplined users, but also attention-seeking users. And this is where perception starts changing. Actually, the formula for creating a stereotype is very simple. First, a vehicle is visually powerful. Then some people use that power not in a responsible way, but in a dramatic way. After that, social media clips spread. Loud music, risky postures, reckless turns, aggressive presence on public roads, modified exhausts, unnecessary horn culture, convoy-style attitude, show-off reels. Then public memory becomes selective. People do not remember 1,000 normal riders, but they remember 10 noisy incidents. Then slowly people begin associating the vehicle with behavior. This is where the biggest confusion begins. A human being's mistake gets stamped onto the vehicle, and the vehicle's image becomes the permanent symbol of that mistake. The Haryana DGP's statement also came in the middle of this social perception. If the police check a particular category of vehicles more, then one part of that may be linked to traffic enforcement patterns, local experience, and repeated complaints. But it is equally important that targeted checking and social stereotyping are not the same thing. It may be the job of law enforcement to stop certain patterns, but it should not be the job of society to paint every Bullet rider or every Thar owner in the same color. Because lakhs of people use these vehicles in a normal, responsible, and completely calm way. Painting everyone with one broad brush is neither fair nor intelligent. This is where the most interesting irony of the Bullet appears. On one side, this motorcycle carries such deep heritage that it is connected with Indian Army and policing history. On the other side, the same bike sometimes appears on social media in the language of raw power and road dominance. This change was not made by the bike, it was made by culture. For many young buyers, the appeal of the Bullet lies in its retro character, touring comfort, heritage feel, and road presence. But some users also attach to it a certain kind of body language in which patience appears less and projection appears more. Then an outsider starts feeling that maybe the bike itself is the reason for this behavior, whereas the truth is that the machine is only the platform. The attitude is brought by the rider. Almost the same thing happened with the Thar. All over the world, off-road vehicles carry an image of toughness, adventure, and freedom. In India, the Thar captured this image very quickly. But where the image of adventure arrives, the image of dominance also attaches very easily. Especially when a vehicle starts carrying off-road aggression like visual language even on city roads. Then if some drivers begin treating public roads like a personal stage, breaking lane discipline, gathering attention, or becoming part of a reckless visual culture, then in the public's eyes, the vehicle's name begins to get spoiled. Slowly, the Thar starts looking less like an SUV and more like an attitude symbol. Whereas the truth is that thousands of responsible owners use it for family trips, touring, daily commuting, and genuine enthusiast driving too. Think about it. If a person goes to the gym, wants to become strong, wears good clothes, and carries a confident posture, then would it be right to call him da bang only because of that? Probably not. In the same way, if someone likes a Bullet or a Thar, it does not necessarily mean that they are part of an intimidation culture. Many people like these vehicles because they like strong design, they like the mechanical feel, they like heritage, they like rural road practicality, or simply because they like the look. In India's automobile culture, practical choice and emotional choice go together. Bullet and Thar are emotional choices too. And emotional choices always become easy targets for stereotypes. Social media has made this stereotype even sharper. Earlier, only the people present at a road incident knew about it. Now a clip goes viral, and within seconds the whole country sees it. If that clip features a striking vehicle, like a bike with a heavy thump or a recognizable SUV, then the visual memory becomes even stronger. Then memes are made, comments come in, jokes are created, and the stereotype spreads in the form of entertainment. A few months later, people do not remember the original incident, but they remember the image. This is the biggest trick of the digital era. It makes a repeated image look more true than reality. But if we raise the question of facts, the picture looks different. Both Royal Enfield and Mahindra have reached mass levels of responsible users with their products. Their popularity does not mean they are connected to lawlessness. It only means that these vehicles are culturally visible. And whatever is more visible is also judged more. If a low-profile commuter vehicle is involved in an incident, it does not become such a large cultural discussion. But products like Bullet and Thar are already symbolic, so every negative incident linked to them leaves a much bigger social shadow than proportional reality. There is another human side to this discussion too. Many times people fear not the vehicle, but the social reading that comes with it. If a young man buys a Bullet, some people immediately start seeing him as a show-off. If someone buys a Thar, some people assume that he is doing a power display. This judgment does not remain limited to vehicles. It stretches into class, masculinity, region, and local culture too. Then it stops being about the vehicle and becomes about social labeling. And that labeling slowly turns into bias.
The damage of bias is that it puts even responsible owners under unfair suspicion. It is also necessary to understand the original intent of the companies here. Royal Enfield built the Bullet as a rugged, dependable motorcycle with a larger-than-life feel. Mahindra positioned the Thar as an adventure-ready, tough, lifestyle-oriented off-roader. These brands did not make these products to become part of a negative stereotype. They combined purpose, heritage, and aspiration. But brand story and street culture do not always move together. No company can control every behavior of every user of its product. It can give engineering, it can give a marketing narrative, but social meaning is created by society itself. So was Haryana DGP's statement completely wrong? It would be too quick to say that as well. If law enforcement sees repeated patterns, such as certain categories of vehicles repeatedly showing up in traffic violations or public complaints, then policing alertness can increase. But an even bigger truth is this. Pattern does not mean identity. A few incidents do not define an entire community, and a few reckless users do not mean that an entire brand or vehicle category is suspect. The wiser path is to target behavior, not the machine, to stop violations, not to strengthen stereotypes. The biggest lesson of this whole story is that society should not lose balance while thinking about vehicles. The real story of the Bullet is one of border patrol, endurance and heritage. The real story of the Thar is one of rugged utility, off-road DNA, and aspirational freedom. If some people have turned them into part of road theater, that does not change the original character of the machine. In the hands of a responsible rider and a responsible driver, these same vehicles become symbols of discipline, utility, travel, pride, and passion. In irresponsible hands, the same thing creates the wrong perception.
If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible, but in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.